Dear viewers, welcome to yet another edition of Your Life, Your Money. This is the last of the episode for the year 2022. It's a good idea to look in the rear view mirror, recall the events that have happened in 2022 and check what lessons and what learnings we can get from 2022. Stay till the end of this video. There are so many points we can learn from this year. This is NRI Money Clinic for you, and I am Dr. Chandrakant Bhatt, your financial guide for a happy living.
NRI Money Clinic. No hype, just the right advice.
If I check through the events that have happened in the year 2022, one thing that stands out is the beginning of change of world order. Hitherto, for a long period of time, US was the dominant country in the world, and that position is being challenged, and there is clear evidence to say that the world order is changing. During the year 2022, every country's currency shivered against the dollar thanks to the rise in interest rates in the United States, because of which the cheaply bought dollars from United States started heading back home. And this put many countries in the world into financial mess, and a thinking started that the world trade has to go beyond dollar, and the thoughts or the noises about de-dollarization of the world started during 2022. Many countries took cues from these problems that they faced in the dollar trade and moved towards bilateral trade. India, Russia, UAE, KSA, Cuba, Tajikistan, so many countries have resorted to bilateral trade between the countries, and probably this is going to be a developing theme, and in years ahead it will gain more prominence. It will bring less dependence on the dollar trade. One thing which stood out very prominently is the clout of United States in the world affair is waning. It is not able to assert itself on different aspects of world diplomacy, the conduct of trade, and various other things which are governing the world. Now, we saw what happened during the Ukraine-Russia war. We also see through the whole year what happened during the United Nations, and many countries across globe started resisting United States. The world realized that over-dependence on the SWIFT system can be a risk for individual country, as well as dependence on dollar as a forex reserves is full of risks for individual economies. Because of the strengthening of the dollar, so many economies went through the trouble, and the thinking started that the trade has to happen in other currency other than the dollar. The year 2022 belonged to India. If you check through the map of the world, it is India which stood out and made news throughout the year 2022. The world is filled with the news of recession. Every country is fearing what might happen because of the recession, whereas the growth in India is very robust and it is resisting all news of recession. Its diplomacy, its conduct with the rest of the countries all became a news throughout 2022. Presidency of India in G20, its vaccine diplomacy, and its voice in the United Nations made news during the year 2022. When a country starts gaining prominence, it's perfectly normal this kind of a news is heard. It is one another proof that India is gaining ascendancy in the world affairs. The year 2022 will go down in the history as a year where the rupee resisted a free fall against the dollar. During 2022, the United States started increasing the interest rates to curtail the inflation in the US. As a result, the free-flowing dollars which were there across the globe started coming back home. The economies of several countries went into a tailspin. There was a complete mess up at the currency level, and the currencies of different countries started melting against the dollar. Rupee too fell from 75 to 82, but it did not go through a free fall. Look at what happened with the currencies of UK, Eurozone, Japanese yen. They have all fallen much higher than the rupee, and that's what is happening. For the first time, rupee resisted the free fall. In fact, rupee has become stronger with several other developing countries' currencies. It has strengthened against the GBP, Euro, Japanese yen, and several other countries. Why did this happen? The reason lies in the robust forex kitty India has. At the end of 2022, still the forex kitty is very healthy at about $560 billion. The NRI community of India is always ready to help the motherland whenever it needs the forex. During the year 2022, the NRI community poured in more than $100 billion back into India, and that's a record. No other country can boast of the expatriate community pouring in $100 billion in a year any time in the past. One other reason why the rupee did not fall through during this currency crisis is because of the proactive steps taken by the Reserve Bank of India. It did maintain a very good forex reserves, and apart from that, it took meaningful steps to bilateralize the trade between different countries and bypassing the dollar route. It started trade between India and Russia using the Vostro Nostro account in the Indian rupee and the Russian ruble. Likewise, similar efforts are being made for conduct of trade between UAE and KSA and several other countries without involvement of dollar. This is a step in the right direction, and that is a step which is being taken by different countries towards de-dollarization of the trade. One of the perennial problems of India is its excessive imports. India imports more than its exports. The gap between the import and export most of the time is funded by the remittances from NRI community back home into India. India made several changes, brought in structural reforms to alter this equation. What does India import? India imports defense equipments, gold, and crude. India made changes in the defense procurement and is putting stress on indigenization of defense procurement. This will relieve India of dependence on the other countries for its requirement. It will also depressurize the external trade. What is that India is doing in the year 2022 to relieve itself of its dependence on other countries for its energy requirement? Research in green hydrogen, which India has plenty, has tremendous scope for India, and if this is implemented, it can completely bring out India from its dependence on other countries for its energy requirement. Electrical vehicles, renewable energy research and implementation, all these things are happening at a tremendous pace in India in the year 2022. What are the benefits of these changes, what I spelt out till now, to the investor community in general and NRI community in particular? The biggest benefit is you can safely invest in India now. The biggest fear the NRI community had was about the currency devaluation. Probably the kind of currency devaluation what you saw in India in the last 75 years will be a thing of the past. Going forward, probably the Indian currency will stabilize, and even ascendancy of Indian currency against the dollar can never ever be ruled out. So it only means to say you can invest in India without the fear of currency losing a great value like it used to happen in the past. Because of this, the international investors can get benefit from the stability of the rupee as well as the growth which is happening in the Indian economy. If I check through different countries, I can safely say there is no other country in the world which is growing as much as India, and today the world is depending on India to drive the global growth. The year 2022 will also go down in the history books as an year of many records. India crossed over from 3 trillion size economy and heading towards the 5 trillion economy. If you look at the history of the world markets, this is the best phase for any economy. When it crosses from 2 trillion towards 5 trillion, most of the stock market gains will happen during that period. Whether it's Japan, US or any other economy you look at it, including China, the best stock markets gains have come when it transitioned itself from 2 trillion to the 5 trillion economy. Right now, India is passing through that particular phase. It's also an year of records for the remittances made by the NRIs. The expatriate community poured in $100 billion into India during this particular year. I observed one more thing which is very, very unique, which I have not seen during my 30 years of life in this line. For the first time in the history, Indian stock markets made lifetime highs when the US markets were down the drain, and it has never happened in the past. For the first time in the history, the FCNR rates and the Indian rupee FD rates, the gap narrowed down to a level that you could hardly see a difference between the two FD rates. There used to be a gap of 3, 4, 5, 6% difference between the FCNR rates and the Indian rupee rates. But today, the FCNR rates and the Indian rupee rates are almost in the vicinity, and this gap has considerably narrowed down to an extent that you don't even feel that there is a gap between these two. And this is happening for the first time. Indian investors have also become the intelligent investors now. The Indian SIP book today stands at 12,000 crores per month, which is literally $1.5 billion. The Indian retail public is investing in its own economy, and that has not happened in the past. Every time the market used to fall, when the FIs used to pull out of the country, the Indian public also used to sell and walk away. But the Indian investor, the NRI community today, has become intelligent and have bought the stocks and the mutual fund when FIs are leaving the country. That is the specific reason why Indian markets have gone through a lifetime highs when the US markets have come down. What did the year 2022 prove yet again? It proved that the markets are always uncertain. You cannot predict the market. If you are an investor who is waiting for an opportune time to enter the market, that day may not come. You have to invest amidst all these uncertainty. It also proved that what goes up also comes down. See what happened in the cryptocurrency markets. The crypto market, which was at about $3 trillion, today stands at about just $800 billion. The year also proved that chasing momentum is a loser's game. What happened in the Nasdaqs, what happened in the cryptos, what happened in some of the non-descript names in the small and mid caps, they have all perished, and the investor has lost a great deal of money. Year 2022 also proved that asset allocation is key in an investing exercise. All assets will not climb up same time. Every asset has its day. Value investing, which did not gain any prominence between 2009 and 2021, saw the ascendancy in 2022. During the year 2022, it is the value stocks which gained than the growth stocks. It proves that every dog has its day, and you have to maintain allocation into value stocks as well. Likewise, the debt gained prominence. The commodities gained prominence for a while. Gold had its prominence for a while. So finally, to create a successful investment plan, asset allocation is a must. 2022 proved this without any doubt. Finally, who won in the year 2022? It is safe to say it is India and the Indian investors who emerged as winners from 2022. Dear viewers, before I sign off, I take this opportunity to wish you all a very, very happy new year. If you like the content of our videos, please do like this video. Do share this video with your friends and relatives. Thank you very much for watching these episodes. I shall be back with you with yet another episode very, very soon.
Press the bell icon for more details and subscribe our channel.